Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Off-Grid Style. I'm Nikki, and I'm so glad to have you here. We are talking about the R600 solar power portable station from Allpowers. And I'm also going to be talking to you about the solar panel that accompanies this and works with it. And so I'll be talking to you about both of those things today. To me, as you all know, solar power is super important, especially up at the cabin. At the cabin, we run a 5600 watt inverter solar panel system. If you've seen it on a couple of other videos I've covered. So, especially in the summertime for me, any additional power I can get is super helpful and important, especially when we're running the mini split AC in the summertime and it gets to be nighttime and we're at roughly 20%. And all we're running is the refrigerator at that point because we want to make sure we have power throughout the night and not lose everything and have to charge everything back up. So I've had this unit for a little over a month now, and that gave me an opportunity to try it both at the cabin as well as here in town, which is where we're at today. So I have some video footage from both places for you doing different things with the unit. If you decide you're interested in the unit, I do have a link in the description. You can check it out, see what you think after I've reviewed it for you. I think it's a great deal, especially for one particular purpose that I was really interested in, actually two purposes, and I'm going to share those with you as well. Now the display, and the display is great. I really like it because it's super specific.
So here is the display screen. It shows how much power is coming in and what percentage you're charged to. It also shows how much power is going out. And it tells you how long it will continue to power the devices you have plugged in at its current charge.
So the fact that you can charge this with the AC in about an hour means that if you have an emergency, you know, SHTF has happened and you are packing up everything to get out, you've got time to charge this fully before you have to leave. It will charge in approximately 4 hours with the solar panel, 100-watt solar panel in full sun. So for me down here in Florida, of course, 4 hours, it was done. It was happy. It was good to go. On a cloudier day, I did do it on a partly cloudy day, and it took almost the full day, of course, because I wasn't getting as much sunshine. This unit also comes with a 5-year warranty from Allpowers, which from what I've seen, I'm not big on this, but from what I've seen, appears to be longer than anything else from any other company in this same configuration and same powering capabilities. So five-year warranty from Allpowers. It also has a great app that comes with it that is actually useful. It helps control the unit, which I thought was really neat as well. So this has a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is supposedly and said to be, everywhere I read, a much better option than the old lithium ion batteries. And this is good to know. It gives you increased power output, it charges faster, it's lighter weight, and it has a longer lifespan. And it's also supposed to be much safer than traditional lithium ion. It doesn't respond to extreme heat like a lithium ion battery would. Some good things to know about the battery. And this battery in this unit also gives you a roughly 3,500 life charge cycles at 100%. And so that means if you charged it fully and depleted it every single day, at the end of 10 years, roughly, you would begin to see that battery not charge back to 100%. 10 years, roughly. I mean, a little less than that because it's 3,500 approximately. But what that means for you is that this is going to last you a long time, well more than 5 years of the warranty. It is going to still work even after you've hit that capacity of roughly 3,500 charges. It'll just be less of power. So you'll get like an 80% charge will be considered a full charge instead of the full 100%. And that's 10 years down the road. So I'd say that's pretty impressive with this new battery.
And as you can see, this can power 8 devices simultaneously. And here is a close up of the front. It has an LED light you can use if you need to have some light. It has two AC outputs, a carport output, two USB C plugs, and two traditional USB A plugs. To begin running or charging anything, you just push the button for AC on or DC on. Here we have the side of the unit, which features the AC input for charging, the solar input to charge from the solar panel, the overload protector, and of course on the top, the wireless charging ability for phones.
Additionally, this unit comes with an app, and it won't show up on my phone, but I mean here, trying to show it to you. But what that app does, it's really, really usable. It will tell you what's going on with the unit. You can control the unit from the app. So for instance, if you want to switch from regular mode to the kind of super mode that allows you to power up and get a little bit more than that 600 watts, excuse me, it will do that for you. Also, it has something called echo mode. So you can actually set a time for this unit to shut off. I like that feature because I tend to be very much multitasking and I'm running around doing 15 different things and I might forget to shut this off. And, 3 days later, it's completely dead because I never shut it off to begin with. So you can actually set that timer in your app to say, okay, shut it off in 5 hours if there's no load on it. And it will shut off in 5 hours if there's no load on it. So I thought that was pretty neat. Another cool thing about this unit is it has pass-through charging. So you can have it plugged into the AC and in the wall, charging itself, and have things in it charging at the same time. Now, obviously, it will take you longer to charge your battery in the unit because you're charging things with it still, but it's good to know that you can do that. It has pass-through charging. This R600 also has UPS, or uninterrupted power supply. Well, what the heck is that, Nick? Well, what that means is that you can have this hooked up to something and it could be running on regular AC power on the grid. And if that grid fails or the power goes out, this will immediately, within milliseconds, pick up and begin running automatically. So I was curious about this. So I went ahead and hooked it up to my PC, my actual personal computer that runs on AC, doesn't run any other way. It's not like a laptop. And I went ahead and hooked it up to this. And sure enough, power went out. This thing kicked in. The computer never went off. Everything was fine. So good to know. So another big one for me was cooking at the cabin. I use the crock pot a lot at the cabin. Sometimes I use the big one, sometimes I use the small one, so the 8-quart or the 4-quart. So I wanted to see how that would work. I will tell you that my big 8-quart did not last very long on this unit, and it isn't really designed to. The 8-quart is a 300 watt, roughly, crock pot. And so it didn't last a whole long time. Now, granted, I did not have this fully charged when I tried it. I just wanted to see how long it would last. Now, my small 4-quart definitely worked for roughly 5.5 hours on this without any issue on low. So that means that if I was cooking something that had chicken or pork in it that doesn't take as long as a roast or something along those lines, then this would be plenty of juice for me to go ahead and cook things in the crock pot. So that is another thing I was interested in knowing and got my answer. And I'm happy to say that I can cook some food in the crock pot hooked up to the R600.
I wanted to show you how it charged in town here on a balcony. The cool thing is you can't see the solar panel from below. This balcony is on the north side, where I normally also have my big hydroponic system at. The solar panel set up great, and while it was a super cloudy day, it did eventually get to about 50% charged after about 5 hours under cloudy conditions.
And as I said, up at the cabin in the summertime, when we're there, we have to be very, very conscious of our wattage usage. So one of the things I had to test it on, because I've been looking for this specifically, was my husband's BiPAP machine. So this is a little bit more involved than a regular CPAP for sleep apnea. This machine actually breathes in and out for him, and he has to wear it at night, or it's not a good thing. So I wanted to test this out. I did not test it while he was wearing it the first time. And the reason I didn't was because I wanted to see how long it would last. And once he falls asleep, he's out. He's gone. He doesn't wake up. And I would have had to stay up to make sure that the machine continued to run while testing it. So I went ahead and tested it during the day. And it doesn't make a difference. It just means that nobody's wearing the mask at the time. But it did run for a little over 8 hours. So it definitely would give somebody a full night's sleep who has to wear a CPAP or a BiPAP. And actually, a BiPAP has a little bit more wattage requirement than a CPAP, and it still ran for over 8 hours. I thought that was a good thing to know. So it does have an overload reset button. It runs at 600 watts. It has a peak capacity of 1200 watts. It does also have a fan, so when you're running something that's demanding more out of it than the 600 watts, that fan will kick on, and it's a little noisy. It's not horrible. I mean, I live with somebody who has a BiPAP machine, so to me it wasn't a loud noise, but you can definitely hear it kick on when you're running it at that higher wattage. And of course, I did plug the unit in to everything I could possibly think of. My cell phone, my laptop, charging the camera, anything and everything, lamps. I had 2 lamps hooked into this thing. Everything I could possibly think of to charge, I was charging on this. I literally filled up every single available charging spot on this thing with the exception of this one, and had no problem. It didn't even seem to bother it or phase it. It dropped down to, I want to say, 2 days of charge with because all of those things are smaller wattages. So, most of them are 15 watts-ish or less. So didn't bother a single one of them. It said that it was going to run for 2 days with all of that stuff plugged in. So as you can tell, I had a lot of fun playing around with this unit to see everything that it would do. And I hope you got some good information about this. Like I said, there's a link in the description to check it out and also to get a discount. But Allpowers also has great sales. So keep an eye out for those, especially if you're looking for a different unit besides this one, or you want something bigger or smaller or whatever it might be. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments.